Hello, everyone. Andrew Taylor here. Today we have Mike and Kait Curry and Brody Pompe.
Sure.
And today we're going to discuss use internet leads as a tool to work, expectations of what someone can expect when it comes to booking ratios, and also some tools to call them faster and easier. To start, can you guys tell us a little bit about your background and how you started with FFL?
Yeah, and I appreciate you having me on here, Andrew. So been here for about 9 months, started full-time in December. Used to do appliance repair, and I knew Grady Polson and Jamie Cheerio from a network marketing company back in the day, and I saw Grady crushing it over here, and I didn't even know anything about FFL. I just saw FFL America everywhere, and he had reached out. I have two little children. He reached out back in July of 2020 to congratulate us. He had a little girl at the same time, and just asked him about it. And he sent me the Rogue IMO video, and my mind was blown. And I thought if I could just she always wanted to stay home with the kids. At the time, we only had Mason, and it's just crazy where we're at.
So you guys have a boy and a girl?
We do.
How old?
Mason will be 4 in September, and Haley just turned 1. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's gotta be a job in itself.
It definitely is.
They're both mama's kids, so
That's
it's a little
great.
easier for her.
Yeah, so it's funny. I have a 1.5-year-old, and I always tell people I'm babysitting. Like if I'm watching them, they're like, "You can't babysit your own kid."
It's a job.
It's babysitting.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, "Dude, this is hard. Like selling insurance is easier than for me." And what's funny is one couple, they both are licensed, and they have 3 kids, and they fight who gets to go in the field
That's funny.
and run appointments.
I won't let her get her license.
Yeah.
I like to run.
You know what? I love when people are able to let their wife stay home and take care of the kids or their significant other. How long did it take you to get to the point where she could stay home?
Honestly, it was probably about 4 months, but with her position, she worked for a good company with it was a financial advising firm. So just one individual, and she wanted to do right by him and give him time to replace her and find somebody that's, helped him continue to grow.
How long did you do that for?
5 years.
And what point did you have a goal to go, I'm going to work so my wife can stay home?
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, I didn't doing appliances, and we were I was content. It was easy. I'd been doing it for 8 years, so it's like she could stay home and I could work extra. I just never could find, because I got my GED, so I don't have any college degree or anything. So it's like just trying to find something where I could work and make the money to replace it, so that she could stay home. And I didn't mind working. It was just finding something that would pay me enough to be able to do that for her.
And how many months in until she didn't have to work?
So that
7.
was 7 months.
At the 7th month, you guys were making enough money. Was it scared for you to?
Definitely. Yeah. It was a leap of faith. But I mean, you have to take the leaps, otherwise what's the point? So, it was scary, but we wouldn't make that decision if, we didn't have the finances to back it. So.
And I think the biggest thing was, like, she can't go back because it's not just, I mean, she could go to a different, like, company within that company, but, like, it's not the same. It wouldn't be the same.
But it's hard to go back once you control your own schedule and you figure out the amount of money you can make if you put the work in.
Right.
Do you guys work the weekends?
I mean, I work every day but Sunday.
Yeah, somebody recently told me, they go, I don't like that you guys all work the weekends, And I'm like, well, we want people to not have to work forever. We want to get them to the point to where they're financially free in a few years.
Yep.
And I also said to him, that's the difference between you and me. I would do anything for my family, including work a few hours on a Saturday.
I work all day Saturday. That's my favorite day to run.
Yeah.
I don't even know what day of the week it is half the time.
Now, what's your lead flow? What's your, how do you call? How many leads do you need to book the appointments that you make?
Yeah, so I buy all pretty much instance. Every now and then I'll grab, if they're there, I'll grab a couple 1, 2, 3 month old mortgage protection. I like to have at least 100. So
A week?
no, per dial day.
So 100 leads per dial day.
Yeah. If I can get 120, I will. You know, I'm in South Carolina, so like I'll drive a couple hours. I mean, I have leads where I'm at, but I actually like getting out and seeing different, you know, scenery. But if I have 100 leads, 100 to 120, I know that, you know, it may take me a couple hours, you know, all day to dial some dial days. So you just have to grind it out. But, you know, I'll book my 15 and I just let the numbers run the course.
What was the situation?
It was really confusing, and I almost didn't book it because when I called him on the phone, you know, I told him I was calling for the final expense life insurance info, and he's like, "Yeah, for taxes." And because this was back right around end of April or right in April into March, and I'm like, "No, this is life insurance." He's like, "Yeah, for taxes." And you know, the script is like, we just got to get it out there, right? So I was like, "Okay, yeah, I just, you know, my job's just to get the info out there to you. We can run through it when we're there." And I get out there, and the situation was he's 73.
What was the house like? Was it
It was on the lake. It was a really nice house.
like really, really nice?
No, but it was nice. I mean, it wasn't like, I've been in nicer homes, but it was on the lake. It's a very expensive property because of where it's at. But, you know, we sit down, and it was funny because he has a commercial real estate company. Him and a family member owned, and he didn't have any children or a wife, and he estimated that he would have about $2 million in estate taxes. So he wanted a $2 million policy, and he was 73 years old.
How hard of a sale was it?
I mean, he knew what he wanted. It was just finding the right product. That was, I think, the scariest thing. You know, being brand new, I'm like, am I putting? You know, I mean, that's a lot of money, right? I want to make sure that we're putting them in the right position. Of course, when you're 73, you don't have a lot of options. You know, so, and I confirmed all that after we submitted it. You know, make sure that we put them in a good spot. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't too bad. It's just work. You just show up, show them the numbers. Half the people know what they want when you get there anyway. It's an instant lead, so it's not a hard sell.
So one of the common frustrations for a new agent is the rejection rate on instant internet leads. What do you experience? And it's important to understand when you're selling insurance that rejection is part of this. But the ability to go in at any given time on any given day and get the amount of leads you can get is really powerful. But what do you what do you expect, like the ratio of no versus yes when you're calling?
I don't really think about it. I just call until I get 15. So I mean, there's days where everybody wants me to come over, and there's days when nobody wants me to come over. I think rejection is just part of life, you know? It's like...
Yeah, I used to have this thing, the meaner they were, it was because they knew they were going to buy. And I remember this one point when I was running appointments, and he goes, "If you are not done in 10 minutes, I'm going to get up and walk out of my own house."
Happens all the time.
Sometimes the easy ones to book are the hardest to close.
Yeah, and that and so many other people get through the door. It is. I think 120 is a guarantee. It just depends. Like, every dial day is a little different, right? So a lead is a family, and you can't expect one lead to be the same as the other. I mean, they're filling out the same form. They're looking for the same thing, but everybody's different, right? So you don't know who's going to answer the phone, who filled out the form. Everybody has a different situation.
Now, on internet leads, you guys are using the ones from the CRM because they're compliant to be used with phone burner.
Right.
What does your dial day look like? It's not like you're manually calling 100 people. What happens? What's that process?
So I always export them the night before, get them in my CRM, you know, export them into the folder. And I mean, I use an app called Burner. It's separate from Phone Burner, and I can have 3 phone numbers. I pay like $15 a month. So whatever area, because I do like to get outside my area code, I'll just add the area code that I'm dialing and then verify it on the caller ID with Phone Burner, so that, you know, I've had so many houses where I set in, they're like, "I only answered because you called from a local number."
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you literally just open it, call into a number, which I think they're changing up now. But anyway, you call into a number and you hit go and you click a button.
And you listen to music. So you're listening to music, and then when someone picks up, bam, you're good.
Bam. You're looking at everything on the screen. All you need, phone script in front of you.
And you do it right on your cell phone.
Yeah. You mean talk to them? Yeah, on the cell phone.
It's legit. Now, how long does it take you to book your appointments in a given week, so someone has an idea if you're doing it like you're doing?
So you call a lot more leads faster. So I don't know that there's an average time. I just know that because of the amount of calls I'm able to make, I hit my appointment number, if that makes sense.
How many hours?
Oh, I mean, I'm always the last one to leave the office, but I don't leave until I get 15.
So Mondays and Thursdays, you don't leave until you get 15.
What time do I get home?
9, 10 o'clock sometimes.
I lock up.
You lock up the office. Isn't it funny how many people are gone at like 4:59?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And show up at 9 and
Yeah.
miss 5 appointments by 8.
Yeah, and they show. This is what I used to do. I'd show up at like 10, and then I go, I wonder what leads I should work today. And then I'd wonder why I wasn't making money. That's why a lot of people say if you think and plan, you can be so much more successful just by doing those two things. Like if you know what you're going to do for the week, you make a plan and execute. Kate, do you help with back-end stuff?
I do. So I help with welcome to class, contracting, calling if an agent, missed a payment, or not an agent, a client missed a payment, customer. Really anything to offload what he's doing, because his job is call, sell, recruit, right? So anything else that I can do and offload, I'm going to do. So that was something, that about a couple months in, I realized he really needs somebody. This is a lot of work. When you're building a team, building an agency, there's a lot that goes into it. Mm-hmm. And so I help them with that.
How do you do that with the kids?
Yeah. So good question. They require my full-time attention. So Mondays and Thursdays, my mom comes over and watches them for a few hours. So I go into the office with him. So I have uninterrupted time. The rest of the week, I'm home with them. So if there's someone, an agent that we're getting into class, I will take 2 minutes if I have it, and I'll send them the welcome to class email, or work from home. It's not that difficult.
It's clutch.
I love that. What a great team.
Yeah.
What have you seen when you hire somebody, the percentage of people that actually start selling consistently, and why do you think that those people are selling consistency? What about them is getting them to do that?
I think it comes down to the phones. Honestly, I think everything comes down to the phones. The people, Brody, who book 15 appointments have success. The people who don't book 15 appointments struggle because there's no consistency.
So I used to say 80% of the money was made on the phones, because if you don't have appointments, nothing happens.
You're sitting in a parking lot dialing.
How hard is it, though, is it hard to pick up the phone every week?
I honestly enjoy dialing. I like the break. I like my field days. I like my dial days. It's a nice break. 2 days. I mean, it's hard work no matter what, right? I mean, in reality, hard work. You're there dialing. You're consistently working. It's not like physical labor or anything. But I like the break in the week, personally.
That way you have a couple days where you're running and a couple days you're just at your office.
Yeah.
And Sundays, you guys use that as like a family day?
Every now and then I'll go dial. If I didn't have a family, Sunday is the best day to dial.
We need a family day.
Yeah, you have to have a family day.
100%. You do something with the family, Monday, get back to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to church, hang out, spend time with the kids, watch NASCAR.
The cool thing, and you were a race car driver, right? Me the other day, that they have a point system when they're dialing. And I used to have a point system where if it was quality, I'd put a 5 next to it. And if it was a bad lead, I'd put a 1 next to it. If it was a bad appointment where they're like, I might be home, I might not, but I don't have anything there, I'm close by, I'll put it down, right? And then someone told me yesterday that they dial until they have a certain amount of points. So they go, when we hit, I forgot what it was. They go, when we hit 35 points, we know we have a good week.
25.
Was it 25? Yeah. Or a good day dialing if we get to 25 points.
Nice. I actually do the numbers thing, but I got that from you.
Yeah.
Only because when I go to a house, like you forget your entire conversation on the phone, right?
Dude, yes.
So if I do mine a little different, but if I have a 1, which is a real solid, I know, like I have the right expectations. When I have a 3, I'm like, okay, so I need to and I'll make notes of the conversation, so I kind of know what I'm walking into, and it really helps emotionally because you don't want to you walk into an appointment that maybe was like a quick set, guy didn't really want you there, whatever, and it's like you come out like, oh, that should have been a sale. But if you write it down properly, you kind of know what to expect and you know what to talk about and push.
Why do you guys think some people make it in sales and some people don't?
Well, with FFL, I think it comes down to appointments. I think that's the only I don't think there's anything special about going into a home and filling out an e-app and submitting a request for coverage.
Unless you're really unlikable.
Yes, you just talk to people. Like, you don't be fake. I get, being in appliance repair, I'm used to being at home. So it's like, don't get like overly weird and friendly, but like you're there for business, but be nice, I guess.
One thing I've seen just in the short amount of time growing an agency, like the difference between Brody, who's working hard and is coachable, versus someone who hasn't made it or they've quit, is the coachability. People want to take it and make it their own or try to redo it and cut, shortcuts. If you just listen and follow the system and you do what you're told to do, you're gonna have success. If you don't work and you want to try to spend your time working or making shortcuts instead of working, you're gonna fail. It's just, we've seen it time after time after time.
I always say if it was easy, everybody would be rich. It's not supposed to be easy, but it does get easier over time. And as your agency gets bigger, you don't, and you're not going to be running appointments forever. You're going to be helping agents do what you're doing, right? But you can manage your whole business from your phone. And that's there's a lot of people that have gotten to that point, but the goal is not to, I love selling insurance, but the goal is not to have to sell insurance forever to pay your bills. It's to use FFL's bonus program, agency building program, all the training, everything it offers to build your own agency where you don't, if you want to sell, you can, but you don't have to.
I like it.
Yeah. And then bam, you're on your phone and you can be anywhere and you can be helping people.
Yeah.
So do you guys do anything with money management? Like, do you try to save any type of money? Do you, is there anything structured like that?
Me personally, everything I make goes back. We pay our bills and put it all back into the business. I'm in the hiring campaign. Everything that I can throw money at to help me grow.
But you've also replaced both of your incomes.
Right.
So you're taking that and then excess you're investing to grow a business even faster.
Right.
That are not about money, more about like getting more time or helping people or anything like that.
Yeah, I've always, so we have a church family back home, and I've always wanted to write a fat check and help them out.
I love
like
that.
a really, really big check. So I'm excited. That's the first thing I'll do when I get my integrity deal.
I love that. What
Yeah.
about you?
Yeah.
Here in insurance, I was barely making money. So the fact that you guys are doing what you're doing so fast is really legit. Like, if you're making money to pay your bills and while you're learning everything, the value of learning all of this is worth so much freaking money. And the fact that what you guys have been able to do in the meantime has been amazing.
Yeah.
But I always tell people I wanted to quit hundreds of times. I mean, hundreds of times. Even when I was making good money, I'm like, dude, maybe, I don't want to deal with clients anymore or whatever. But if you get through those moments, it's worth it. You can make so much money, 3 or 4 day vacations and then still run my appointments, like maybe dial Sunday, run Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I still wrote my production for the week.
Yeah.
But no excuse for not. And I always did that because I didn't want to lose my momentum. Have you guys lost your momentum at one point?
Yeah. Two different times.
Explain that.
Awful. Well, you know, it seems like, so early on, you know, we have sales conferences and stuff, right? So I did not plan my weeks properly, and I would allow those types of things, little events, you know, you go and training starts at 12, you have 4 appointments, you know, I wouldn't plan them right. And it just gets you off. I don't know why, but it's like, it always works out like that. So it's just stay, like you said, you know, get your production in and then take your time, like work around it, plan for it. And I've done a lot of that for those events now. And it's like, now it doesn't really affect me. But man, momentum, it's the hardest, what's Trey say? It's the hardest thing to get and the easiest thing to lose.
Oh, man. I don't know how, but it's like you forget how to do it. You come back and you forget how to do it.
Yeah.
It becomes like almost like a performance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Confidence is huge. When you walk out of a house with a sale and go into the next one, people feel the confidence. And, you know, you don't realize it, but when you talk to people, you're confident. You know what you're talking about. You're leading them. But, you know, when you have a couple houses where they didn't want it or a no-show, you walk in, you're kind of down. People sense that, and they feed off that.
Yeah, 100%. And I always go, was that a coincidence? No, it was the way I was communicating to people. It was not that I happened to meet 40 people that were laydowns and 30 people that were not laydowns. It was just me. Mm-hmm. So it's something to think about. What do you think about blaming everything else but your work ethic for why you're not succeeding? And how do you got helicopters in the military and I was still kind of scared to dial?
Yeah.
Listen to that podcast. That was funny.
Yeah. Or like door knocking, you get in your own head and you're like, should I do it? Should I not? And then you're like, what is there really to be scared of?
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I think that sometimes people have like old addresses saved to their Google or their Facebook, and it'll auto-populate an old address when they request a quote, right?
Right.
Do you guys run into that ever?
I do. And it's really, well, my phone script, I changed my phone script up for that, so it's really easy. But my phone even does it. It says autofill. And it's like, for whatever reason, it's my old address that I lived at 2 years ago. And a lot of times people do it because they don't care, right? They're just trying to find a quote. And they just autofill it, and it's submitted. So when you call them, that's the address you have. Mm-hmm. Right? So
how'd you change your phone script?
I mean, it's very simple. And instead of like, you know, and I have your address here at 123, I'm like, okay, and you're still at the 123 Main Street address? Is that old or current? That simple.
That's it.
And they're like, oh, that's old. I haven't been there in years. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, sometimes they auto-populate. What's that current address for you? Just
done.
Yeah. But you got to sound like you know that it happens.
Yes.
That's all it is.
Well, we do know that it happens.
Right.
Because I had an agent go, I talked to 3 people and the addresses weren't right. And I was thinking it's probably my phone auto-populates my old address that I had like 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And like old bank cards too. Drew, how do we I got to get Factory Fresh to help me delete those.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
It's your phone.
100%. Okay, if you guys are building an agency, you guys are mentoring and helping people do what you're doing. If somebody were to join your team, what does that look like?
So, I mean, we walk them through, from start to finish. Kate gets them a welcome to email or a welcome to class email. They have my contact. We have questions. We put them into a WhatsApp group with Living Hope, Jamie Cheerio. Through the pre-licensing part, we put them through even the contracting phase. They have all of our info every step of the way. She has a really solid email that she's laid out with links, steps. It's very easy to read. She even broke it up for the contracting, like step 1, step 2, just to kind of keep it from just being like a blob of information. We get on a lead strategy call. We hop on a call with Jamie, and we'll do a 3-way call with Jamie, kind of set expectations, what we're doing. He's kind of like the hard liner. I'm kind of their friend. So we set the expectations properly, and then it's getting leads, and this is how many you need. And I don't tell people that you only need to spend $500. I tell them I went to convention back in February, and every Hall of Famer on that stage said, any lead. I love Instance. I know I probably don't diversify enough, but I love Instance so much because I've had so much success on them. That's like, it's hard for me to because I haven't really branched out on other leads. So it's hard for me to recommend something I haven't really done a lot, if that makes sense.
It's crazy.
It's all they were. Like, the Happy Agent and Game Time were locked out when I first started.
Mm-hmm.
And Jamie's like, we're going to have to buy the Instance. And they were brand new. I mean, I started full-time in December, so.
Well, I know there's a bunch of new lead types and lead platforms to help people diversify. 2 new mail houses, mortgage protection, final expense, mail drops, or buy per lead. And those were recently launched, and it's just going to help FFL grow even faster, including a really cool live transfer platform.
Saw that.
But this is a special live transfer platform because it can route calls by county, city, state, zip code, and you can choose let's say you're in the field, and either close them or go see them.
Wow.
So this is going to be game changing. If somebody wanted to work with you guys, how can they reach you?
I mean, me, my Instagram, like Curry_FFL, Brody Pompe, what is it? 704-572-5096.
What about you? With you guys, if I was coming in, you guys have a solid team. You guys are helping people.
Thank you.